It's goodbye from me. Goodbye.
Jessup's return as weird and wonderful as ever. Alison Steadman stars the new series of Here We Go on iPlayer. And You About, Tom Grennan and Roman Kemp have added you to the group chat. Listen on BBC Sounds.
The father rounds up his family, but that does little to deter the dogs. So he makes an extraordinary sacrifice. He hangs back. A journey like no other parenthood.
Start Sunday at 7:20 on BBC One and iPlayer. Doorbell! Doorbell! Doorbell, someone! Doorbell!
Right.
Doorbell! Doorbell! Doorbell!
You're the closest to the door, Mum.
Yeah, but I've got bad tooth.
Yeah, well, you only have to answer it. You don't have to eat your way through it.
Here We Go. Press red for all episodes on BBC iPlayer.
Parenting comes with a lot of advice, so finding the right advice when you need it can be overwhelming. Introducing CBeebies Parenting, your go-to space for up-to-date expert advice and support on all things parenting.
Today we're going to be talking about bedtime routines, sleep hygiene and wind down.
Supporting families from day one to the first day of school. We've got what you need when you need it. CBeebies Parenting, here when you need us.
13 players compete to win £100,000.
Players,
welcome. All they have to do is guess where they are. Sounds easy. They board a bus with no views.
We ought to be so disorientated.
Travel Europe with no sense of direction.
This is the strangest thing I've ever done.
And play a game where nowhere is as it seems.
This is going to be a real challenge.
Trust Nowhere. Brand new Destination X starts tomorrow at 9 on BBC One and iPlayer.
Tonight, Catherine Zeta-Jones and Lewis Guzman on the Addams Family Smash Hit series Wednesday.
Diane Morgan brings us comedy gold in the latest series of Mandy.
Plus, fresh from today's parade, Alex Scott on the legacy of the Lionesses.
See you at 7.
This is BBC One at 6 o'clock. The news with Sophie Rayworth.
Tonight at 6, the UK ramps up the pressure on Israel. The Prime Minister has just announced that the UK will recognise the state of Palestine in September unless Israel agrees to a ceasefire in Gaza. Our international editor, Jeremy Bowen, is in Jerusalem and will tell us what it all means. Also tonight, the Rotherham grooming gang scandal. We speak to 2 women who say they were sexually abused by police officers as well. Torrential rain triggers landslides and severe flooding in northern China. Dozens have died and tens of thousands have been evacuated. And a victory parade along the Mall for the Lionesses as the European champions inspire a new generation. How excited are you about seeing the Lionesses shortly?
Out of 100, probably 1,000,000.
On BBC London, as the Lionesses celebrate their historic Euros win in the heart of the capital, we'll hear how it's inspired Londoners and the next generation of fans.
Good evening. The Prime Minister says the UK will recognise the state of Palestine in September unless Israel agrees to a ceasefire and takes substantive steps to end the appalling situation in Gaza. The significant shift in the UK government's position comes after an emergency cabinet meeting today and was announced as President Trump was flying out of Scotland after a 4-day private visit during which he held talks with the Prime Minister. There has been growing pressure on Sir Keir Starmer from his own MPs and ministers as the humanitarian situation in Gaza worsens. This is what the Prime Minister announced a short time ago.
I can confirm the UK will recognise the state of Palestine by the United Nations General Assembly in September unless the Israeli government takes substantive steps to end the appalling situation in Gaza, agree to a ceasefire and commit to a long-term sustainable peace, reviving the prospect of a two-state solution. And this includes allowing the UN to restart the supply of aid and making clear that there will be no annexations in the West Bank.
Well, this significant shift from the UK government comes as UN-backed experts say the worst-case scenario of famine is now playing out in Gaza. The IPC describes access to food as alarmingly erratic and warns that airdrops of aid won't be enough to curb the mounting crisis. Israel's foreign minister said the situation in Gaza was tough, but insisted there were lies about starvation. The Israeli government doesn't allow the BBC and other news organisations into Gaza. Our Middle East correspondent Hugo Beshega has sent this report from Jerusalem and a warning it contains disturbing images from the start.